Thank you for each and every person who has participated in
Mimi ndiye kutoka Kisumu Dala. Ruto must go bana, plus baba yote sikutambui. Acha niongee. We're going in peace. Ruto, sisi hatuna mambo. Tumekuja peacefully lakini ama njege wako wanatupiga. Bona, sisi tumekuja peacefully na tunaomba tuweke lunch state house. Tunakam manzo. Sawa, leo tunaingia. Na wewe jo kula tu yako moja. Hatutaki ingine. Moja tushashukuru. Sawa? One time.
Police brutality kila siku. Tunataka tu peace. Nataka nchi yetu yenye tunataka nchi zote
Some police are shooting at the journalist. This is 25th of June 2025. MAANDAMANO Wednesday. Please subscribe to Balindwe Media to get latest news and to follow this live coverage. Right now, tumetoka pale Central Police Station. Some protesters tried to get into the police station, but they were tear gassed. I heard some say that one person was shot in the stomach. I did see that. I don't know how true is that, but what we know as per now is that police threw tear gas and they dispersed a crowd that tried to enter into the police station. And I hear many say that they're marching to State House. This is MAANDAMANO Wednesday live coverage. So tunaenda pale Moi Avenue. I can see a crowd there. Let's see and let's go and see what's happening there. Please subscribe to Balindwe Media for live coverage of MAANDAMANO Wednesday, 25th of June 2025.
Money's take effect so that we do have a seamless process where they are able to do what it is they're supposed to do. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support this.
Honorable Wachira Karani.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute towards this bill, the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 4 of 2025, by the Honorable Dr. Tiende Amoro, Senior Counsel, and the Honorable Samuel Chakona, to entrench it in the Constitution. I want to start by saying I support the order to thank them for thinking of this novel idea. I come from, Madam Speaker, in the past we used to be attacked by bandits from our neighbors. So much that the area people are even contemplating moving out of the place. And through CDF and GCDF, the transformation that has been done, police posts, police stations have been very grateful. Our chiefs and assistant chiefs are now operating in very hygienic environment, and the place has become very habitable. On the side of education, there is a lot of transformation in education. Madam Speaker, right now the CDF Laikipia West is sponsoring 492 students across the constituency in day schools who never used to go to school. We go visit villages. We are presented by the villagers a case of a child who has been in home since the exam results were out and was admitted to secondary school, but the child cannot join the school because they do not have money. The CDF has helped such students, and they are now in school, and we are very, very happy. On infrastructure, Madam Speaker, there is a lot of transformation in our constituency, and I believe it is across the country. When we went for public participation, there was a very, very big turnout in my constituency. The big turnout is because people are happy on what the CDF has been doing, and I'm very, very, very grateful. Madam Speaker, on the other fund, the Senate Oversight Fund, I want to say in our counties, the counties have been receiving a lot of money. But then the senators who are supposed to oversight them have been having constraints. Like in my county, it's a very vast county. It has 3 constituencies, but it's very vast. To move from one corner to the other to inspect the projects that are being implemented by the county government is a big, big deal. So with this oversight, it will enable the senator for Laikipia, and indeed all the other senators, to travel across their counties and oversight the fund. Without those few remarks, I support. Madam.
Majority Whip.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker also rise to support this bill by the Honorable Chepkonga and the Honorable Dr. Otienda Molo on the constitutional amendment bill that seeks to entrench the NGCDF and GAF and also the Senate Oversight Fund in the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, this country has come of age. And over the years, those who are before us in this house know where exactly this country has come from as far as getting funds to the common mwananchi comes from. In as much as, Honorable Speaker, that we have 2 units of governance, the devolved unit and the national government, even as we continue seeking that funds go through, are channeled through the county governments or through the devolved units, there are other elements that are left within the national government structure that are very critical to people in all the villages and all constituencies. And with a well-controlled system, the impact will be felt in the villages and in the constituencies in factors or in matters that are left on the national government. That is the security, the education, and other matters, Honorable Speaker. And that is why it's quite unfortunate that people have a misconception that CDF or NGCDF is a fund that is managed by members of parliament. Far from it. Even as it is currently, Honorable Speaker, members of parliament have 0 role as far as sharing of NGCDF or, the way NGCDF operates, Honorable Speaker. I mean, that is why it's called National Government Constituency Development Fund. It is a preserve for the national government with an autonomous structure of governance. We have the NGCDF board that does the approvals. We have the constituency fund managers that are employed by the National Government Constituency Development Fund. Then we have the committees, in the constituencies that, of course, now collect views from the common mwananchi. And the role of members of parliament, Honorable Speaker, is very limited. It's actually to oversight, as provided for under Article 95. There is nothing else that we do. What the members of parliament do when they visit constituencies on the NGCDF project is simply to exercise their role and responsibility to oversight and see whether this national government fund is actually doing what it ought to be. It's doing what the committee proposed to the NGCDF board. But people have this misconception, Honorable Speaker, that the members of parliament sit somewhere and they go to their accounts and they draw the funds, they decide on what to do, and they keep some changes. In fact, I keep challenging people any time I engage them that if there is a fund that you really cannot steal, it is actually in this house that I say that we need to replicate the system that NGCDF has or operates under to even the county government. Because this money, Honorable Speaker, leaves the board, goes to the constituencies with a vote, a specific vote, that on this particular percentage, it's going for the bursaries. This particular percentage is for education. This percentage is for this and this. We have no role whatsoever. But people think and imagine that we wake up one morning, a member of parliament wakes up one morning and decides that today I want to draw 1 million shillings from the NGCDF account. How? It is not possible. It is not practical. You cannot do that. What we do is to oversight. And what we are proposing here, Honorable Speaker, it is to have these funds now entrenched in the Constitution so people can feel it. Honorable Speaker, when you compare, and I've always said this, when you compare resources, when you compare the resources that are sent from the national government or through the devolved units and the NGCDF, you will realize, Honorable Speaker, that when you pass through the constituencies, every project done by NGCDF is visible. You see it. You see it. You can actually count and say, it has bought this school bus. It has done this. Some students have gone to school. Some people have, we have now police stations. We have, in fact, Honorable Speaker, some even do, like I saw Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, my former colleague, a member of this house, who left this house in the last regime, Honorable Speaker, was actually doing even swimming pools in Nairobi schools. And students have competed and even gone international through the swimming classes that they learned because the structures have been built. So, Honorable Speaker, this is the fund that is felt by the common manager. When you compare every devolved fund, every fund that has left to the national government, you will realize that this fund, Honorable Speaker, is so visible. And that is why some people, some very weird quarters, Honorable Speaker, are viciously fighting that this fund does not get to the common mwananchi because they know that when it gets to the common mwananchi, they'll have no graph. They'll have no ground to stand against, because people tend to fight for, they tend to oppress or suppress people so that they can be able to use them for their own ulterior motives, Honorable Speaker. But when this fund goes to the public, Honorable Speaker, it helps a lot. It elevates education. It's felt by the common mwananchi. And, Honorable Speaker, I am a living example, personally, of this fund, the NGCDF. When it was first introduced in this house, Honorable Speaker, I was in Form 1. I was in Form 1, Honorable Speaker. And the Honorable Mingo Magara paid my school fees, Honorable Speaker, through this NGCDF. That time the fees was about 3,000. And when I saw my name on the notice board, Honorable Speaker, I was very happy. Because I had dropped out of school. I had no money. I had started, Honorable Speaker, doing menial jobs in the villages. I had nowhere to sleep. I had nowhere to spend. So I really wanted to be in boarding school, Honorable Speaker, because there was no place I could live and, so that because I had nobody to cook for me. I had nobody to live with. And the Honorable Mingo Magara, Honorable Speaker, that time as a member of parliament, then it was not under the NGCDF board. It was quite a bit direct. Paid my school fees, Honorable Speaker, through this fund, NGCDF. Although it has, over the years, it has, been repealed now to what it is today. This is the time that this house needs to stand firm and support this particular bill so that this fund is felt, Honorable Speaker, in the constituency. Then there is also the NGAF fund, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, women play a critical role in the societies. When you move around the counties, Honorable Speaker, you will actually see, in as much as the resources they get are meager, at about 6 million per county, or 8 per constituency, 42 million per county, or 50 or 60 million, you will see, we've seen water tanks, we've seen bursaries. They try to balance these resources and exploit them properly, and it's felt, it's quite visible compared to what we send in billions to the county governments, Honorable Speaker. If there is a fund, again, that we must support, that it should be raised even higher, it is the NGAF fund, even as we entrench it in the Constitution, so that you see it. It's practical. Honorable Speaker, we have water challenges all over in the country. We are not able to tap on natural, water that through the rains. But these ladies, the ladies that patronize this amount, Speaker, have been able to give tanks across the schools. Kids are not now being sent to, they're not being sent to the rivers, Honorable Speaker, for matters to fetch waters through the rivers and everything, because we are taking advantage of the rainwater, Honorable Speaker. So if there is another section of fund that we really must support is the NGAF that our gracious ladies have been patronizing over the years, Honorable Speaker. And finally, Honorable Speaker, when we talk about the oversight, the reason why the oversight, the Senate looks crippled is because they are really not well resourced. You call governors who control billions of money to reprimand them, they look at you as paupers, and because you have nothing. Even going to the counties, Honorable Speaker, to see what the funds, the devolved funds are doing is a challenge to the senators. They struggle to get to the counties. There is no special budget for that to go to the county so that they can be able to see. The other day I saw senators, Honorable Speaker, in one of the counties when they visited some hospital, Honorable Speaker, and they really displayed quite disturbing images of patients sleeping, sharing beds, 3 patients, women sharing beds, Honorable Speaker, maternity wing. It's a very sad situation. We need to empower the senators. We need to give them the oversight fund so that when they see these things, Honorable Speaker, they can be able to work on it. So with those very, very remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support and urge members to appear in the afternoon in large numbers and vote for this particular bill so that we can be able to see a meaningful development in our society. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Dr. James Nyikal, member for Seme.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, this bill seeks to entrench in the Constitution the National Government Constituency Development Fund, the NGAF, and also Senate Oversight. Madam Speaker, this CDF has done what has not been done by many, many other funds. But those who have been going to court on and off against this fund and the other decentralized funds, the argument is that this is actually against the devolution. But they should remember that the CDF is part of the national component of the revenue, so that when we are sharing, even if it was to be abolished, it would not go to the counties. It would still be part of the national government fund that will be used in the national government. Madam Speaker, people have talked about separation of powers. The role of MP, as we know, is representation, legislation, and oversight. But if you look at what the MP's role in CDF, even the MP's role of the Senate, it will be purely oversight. That is what MPs do. CDF itself has a clear structure where there's no participation by the MP, by the constituency MP at all. It has the national board, which is just representation like all other boards. And we vet the chair here, just like we vet the chairs for all other boards and all other sagas in the national government. So that is still part of our job as legislation. It has a constituency committee, and we really don't take part in the constituency committee at all in structural way. We may try like anybody else to see who gets there, but it's still in the hands of the deputy county commissioner. People apply if they're going to be members of that committee. The deputy county commissioner actually chairs the meeting, and then the people are picked. The member of parliament has no role at all. Madam Speaker, when you go to the project management committee, the PMC, in fact, that may be the reason why CDF is, in particular, is very, very popular. Because once the money gets to the constituency, the money coming to the constituency, it comes clearly what it is going to do, what vote is going to do. Earlier before that, of course, there is public participation where people decide what they really want to be done in their areas. And once that decision is made, the money that comes from the board comes directly for that. And when you go to the project management committee, the project management committee is actually purely the people, the constituents themselves. They are managing it. And this is one of the strengths of this fund. Madam Speaker, the truth is, the MP has no role. In fact, if the deputy county commissioner, who is also part of this, if the manager, the chairman of the constituency committee of CDF and the fund manager decide that you won't even know what they are doing, what role as an MP would you have? None at all. And actually, the truth is, this fund can run without the member of parliament there. So in that context, I don't see the issue that people have with it. And if you look, people say, oh, some people have claimed this is just pocket money for the members of parliament. How does this money even get in your hands? Once the money is gone to the project management committee, before the payment is made, members of the committee, and if it is a school, for example, and the head of the school is a secretary or chair of that committee, they are actually signatory. The MP is not a signatory anywhere at all. So I don't see why it is claimed that this is really money for the MPs. But why is it fund popular, Madam Speaker? One is access. There is no single fund that I've seen that actually the people have access to as much as a CDF. Madam Speaker, once there is a problem, maybe a school dormitory is banned or something, the members of the community will see the chair of the committee. They will sit. The MP has no role there at all. And once they sit and they decide, if you use the emergency component of this fund, the work will be done immediately. Which other fund I can ask, Madam Speaker, people will have direct access to like that? And when the work is going on, the people actually oversight the job. We know many people come to us, Mheshimiwa, this work is going on, we don't like the way it is going on. And you just have to go, and that is part of oversight. You just go and see what is happening. That is oversight. So, Madam Speaker, we oversight other things. We have security. If a member of parliament actually meets with the sub-county security committee and needs to know what is happening, that is oversight. That is exactly how we relate with the NGCDF. If there is a program going on in education, even when exams are being done, members of parliament get involved on this. So, Madam Speaker, I do not see how this thing actually we can be accused, MPs can be accused of owning, using as they wish the NCDF money. If you look at the Senate Senate Oversight Fund, I actually sympathize with the senators. They have a huge area, as well as the women represented. They have a huge area which they have to oversight. Now, you cannot come to this parliament as a woman representative or go to the Senate as a senator and start legislating, and you have no opportunity, no ability to go to the constituency and find out what exactly is happening. How will they work? So if we actually the senator and the woman representative have money, this is what they need. Because otherwise, it will just be a talk shop for them. They have to go and see what is happening. So with that, Madam Speaker, I think this fund and the other decentralized funds have actually been wrongly accused. MPs have been wrongly accused of misusing these funds. So, Madam Speaker, in my view, if the people have found that this is a fund that is useful to them, and the only argument I've had consistently is that it's unconstitutional. What do we make constitutions for? We make constitutions to guide our lives in a way that we find most useful and productive to us. Now, if we find a structure that is actually very efficient, even the overhead costs in CDF is actually the lowest. Why then can't we change the constitution so that we find something that works and that people that are popular with the people to be constitutional? So with that, Madam Speaker, I support this constitutional amendment.
Honorable Jane Kagiri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to support this amendment. Honorable Speaker, as I support this amendment, it takes me back to when I was a young girl. And Honorable Speaker, I was very excited and wanted to go to a boarding secondary school. Unfortunately, in Laikipia County, in those years, we did not have a girls' secondary school that was boarding. So my parents had to take me to another county to study for my secondary education. Years later, I kept wondering what had caused us not to have schools in our area. Honorable Speaker, if you look at a county like Laikipia, we had been neglected for very many years, and we are one of those counties that seek for equalization because of historical injustices. Honorable Speaker, years later, CDF was introduced. Today, I can call CDF the equalizer in this country, because based on the efforts of the members of parliament who have been elected in Laikipia, today we can pride ourselves for having boarding schools in our county, both for the boys and girls. Honorable Speaker, secondly, I would want to say many of our needy students have managed to get an education thanks to the bursaries given by our MPs in our counties and constituencies. Today, Honorable Speaker, I can still say Laikipia County is at 70% with semi-permanent structures in our schools. When we seek for more funding for CDF, I believe this is what is going to eliminate these semi-permanent structures in our schools, and it's also going to give an equal opportunity to students in Laikipia County to get an education just like students in other counties. Honorable Speaker, secondly, as I support this amendment, I would want to speak about the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and I happen to be the chairperson of the 47 county MPs. Honorable Speaker, allow me to take this House through some statistics of last year. Last year, NGAF supported 50,000 students in this country through bursaries. 50,000 may look like a small number, but I would want us to picture 50,000 children getting an opportunity in this country. That is almost a whole constituency of people. Honorable Speaker, my question becomes, what if we had more funding to the National Government Affirmative Action Fund? I believe we'd be speaking of hundreds of thousands of students whom we have given an opportunity. In my own county of Laikipia last year, I managed to send 430 students for TVET training. And again, another 362 for catering classes. Today, I look back and think, these are students I have given a fishing line that rather than giving them a fish which they are going to keep coming back to. Honorable Speaker, these are opportunities that create empowerment for our people and give an opportunity to our young people. Honorable Speaker, speaking of last year again, we had around 3,000 groups supported through the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. Honorable Speaker, this may look again like a small number, but picture women, youth, persons with disability who have a source of income every day thanks to the funding that this National Government Affirmative Action Fund is giving them. Honorable Speaker, we are able to empower people with trolleys, we're able to empower them with shaving kits, we're able to empower people with tools of trade that can give them success in their businesses. Honorable Speaker, my final example would be last week when I was in Nanyuki. I managed to give my labor group that sits in Nanyuki town a concrete mixer. Honorable Speaker, my thought is that from that, these people will empower themselves, they will grow. In the future, they'll be the owners of buildings in that town. Honorable Speaker, I believe as women reps would also want to ensure clean drinking water for our people. Unfortunately, again, our funding is too little to ensure that every school has a water tank, to ensure every administration institution has water tanks, so that when our people go to be served, they can be served with clean water and resources that will ensure they continue living in better conducive conditions. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, based on the Education Act, we are only allowed to issue sanitary towels to our students in basic education. But Honorable Speaker, you and I know the secondary students are the ones who are even more in need of sanitary towels. Again, our resources cannot cover all these students. That is the basic education as well as the secondary students. Again, Honorable Speaker, with an increased allocation for the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, we are going to be able to give more of our children sanitary towels and to ensure our girls remain in schools as they are supposed to remain in schools. Finally, Honorable Speaker, we are not just seeking for an increment. We are seeking for a consideration of a percentage of the national revenue. So as we progress on this amendment, we as the women representatives are seeking for 2.5% consideration of the national revenue as an allocation to NGAF, which is going to ensure that we support our women, our youth, and our persons with disability. Honorable Speaker, I support and I submit. Thank you.
Thank you. Member for Kitui Central, Dr. Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in supporting this constitutional amendment. But before I get to the details of the bill, let me appreciate the movers of the bill, Honorable Dr. Uchenda Moro and Honorable Chepkon. Honorable Speaker, I want just to provide some statements of fact so that those who are following us in terms of this debate know what we are discussing. Honorable Speaker, this bill, if you look at it, proposes introduction of three funds. That is the National Constituency, National Government Constituency Fund, the Senate Fund, and the GAF. Honorable Speaker, in terms of sharing resources in this country, we have two levels of government. We have the national government and we have the county governments. And what determines how much money goes to each of the two levels, Honorable Speaker, is what we call the Division of Revenue Bill, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, in the Division of Revenue Bill, we only say how much goes to the national government and how much goes to the county governments. Now, after determining how much goes to the county government and how much goes to the national government, is when now we'll be introducing these funds. So those who are saying that this money, if not given to the NGCDF, the Senate Fund, and GAF, can find their way into the county governments, are cheating themselves. So the truth of the matter is, even if this money is not given to these three different funds, it will not go to the county governments. The only way it will be able to go to the county governments is through what we call conditional grants, meaning that the national government will have to pick part of their share and give to the counties in form of conditional grant. Otherwise, there will be no additional resources to the counties as a result of having no these funds. The second point, Honorable Speaker, which is important, through these funds, we ensure that there is equity in the distribution of resources. What do I mean when I talk about equity? These are the only funds where we are sure that at the end of the day, each constituency, each county will get this money from the national resources without caring who they vote for. So it ensures equity, and equity is an issue we have all been fighting for, Honorable Speaker, when it comes to resource sharing in this country. So through these funds, we are saying we'll have a mechanism or a strategy to ensure that every part of this country will access resources, public resources. The other point, which is critical, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of CDF being a development model, Honorable Speaker. The truth of the matter, Honorable Speaker, is that if we were to assess the models we are using to deliver development to this country, from more parts of this country, CDF is the best model.
And that has been proved beyond any reasonable doubt, Honorable Speaker. So the question I ask myself is, if you are genuine Kenyan really, why would you not want Kenyans to benefit from this development model, which has been assessed to be the best in terms of it has minimal recurrent expenditure, it has the highest development expenditure, and that means we are growing our economy. Honorable Speaker, the other point is this. If you look at the impact of this fund called NGCDF to Kenyans, Honorable Speaker, I want to tell you, in my constituency, I didn't mobilize anybody to go and say yes or no. But the numbers were overwhelming. People on their own choice decided to go out there and make sure that they say NGCDF must stay, because it has had the highest impact to our people in terms of educational, infrastructural development, in terms of bursaries to our students and more so the needy students. And I want to specifically single out orphans in this country. Honorable Speaker, at the same time, this program called NGCDF has also assisted our security sector in providing the infrastructure for our security officers. So, if you look at the issue of highest impact in terms of positive impact to the Kenyans, this fund emerges as tops. And it's on the basis of that, Honorable Speaker, we are saying any right-thinking Kenyan should be able to supporting enrichment of this fund in the Constitution, because it will help more people in the country and improve the lives of our people. The other point, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of public participation. The current act, the current NGCDF Act, Honorable Speaker, says every 2 years you conduct public participation so that you are able to identify which programs and projects should be funded to benefit our people. So, matters public participation is required in our Constitution, Honorable Speaker. I also adequately catered for in these funds that our people are able to come up there and say this is what we want to do, and on the basis of that, you have targeted development, meaning you are funding what the people are saying is their priority number one in whichever location they are in. And that is on that basis, Honorable Speaker, that I support these three funds. So, Honorable Speaker, without really belaboring the point, we are saying that I want to urge my colleagues to support this constitutional amendment, and we can only prove that we are in support of this by availing ourselves in the afternoon, so that the required 2/3, Honorable Speaker, we do not even achieve 2/3, we actually achieve 100% in support of these three funds. That will help this country and will be moving in the right direction. So colleagues who are out there and who are watching us or listening to us, make sure by 2:30 we are all full house so that we support these important three funds. And by that time, Honorable Speaker, they will be helping this country. With this many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you so much.
Very well. Honorable members, I see there is a lot of interest. Though we have 10 minutes per member, if we can try and shorten it, more people will speak. We cannot do that by the standing orders. It has to be personal conviction to take short time. Member for Kitutu Masaba, Honorable Gisairo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Firstly, let me start by congratulating and thanking Honorable Tiende Amolo and Samuel Chepkonga for bringing this bill to this House. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution of 2010 had very good intentions on devolution. However, it didn't foresee a point where we are going to create 47 demigods. People who control funds, but funds that does not reflect in the lives of the people. Honorable Speaker, the 47 demigods know that they cannot be summoned by this House. But they know they can be summoned by a Senate which has little or no say on the direction of whatever they do. The senators are not even able to know what actual projects are taking place in their counties. To a point, members of parliament are called by the constituents to complain about dysfunctional services in the counties, matters that should be handled by senators. It is in that spirit, Honorable Speaker, that we feel that the senators should get the Senate Oversight Fund. This will allow them to walk the streets of their counties, visit dispensaries and hospitals in their counties, visit primary schools with ECD classes to confirm whether those infrastructures are being done and done in the right way. As a House, we therefore have to support this provision to ensure that senators are well and properly resourced to oversight our 47 demigods. Honorable Speaker, resources will never be enough. We cannot reach everyone individually. And that is the spirit of having the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, to allow the women reps to identify and support vulnerable cases within our communities. The NGAF has done a commendable job. In my county, I've seen women groups, young people's groups being empowered to get their lives together. We've seen girls getting sanitary towels, things that we see that are basic, but millions and millions of our Kenyan youth cannot afford. Their parents are not able. NGAF should not only be entrenched here, but the amount should at least be doubled to enable the vulnerable in the community be taken care of in the right manner. Honorable Speaker, many members have said here that members of parliament are not party to NGCDF. Honorable Speaker, we are elected to perform 3 key roles: oversight, legislate, and represent. Honorable Speaker, we have a hand in the NGCDF by virtue of representation. The 350,000 people of Kitutu Masaba will not face the fund manager, all of them at once. And that's why they've elected me as their leader to listen to them and represent them in different forums. I therefore play my role to represent them. They have a vision, but they cannot present that vision, the 350,000 of them. You therefore, as the member of parliament, you are the vision carrier for your people. We will therefore continue playing our role of representing our people to the board and to the CDFCs. Honorable Speaker, if there is a fund that is properly structured, I sit in the select committee of CDF. It is this fund. Money goes to the board. The board sends the money to the constituency, CDFC's main account. From there, the money does not go to the contractor. It goes to the project management committee account, which has a representation of the local community where the project is going to be done. Those members of that community are the signatories. Honorable Speaker, this is the fund that touches the poor. It is the fund that speaks the language of the poor. Today, while we talk here, we are not talking as members of parliament. We are carrying the voices of the millions of the people we represent. Honorable Speaker, we will not allow that this country goes to a point where the member of parliament of Kitutu Masaba, who is elected on the opposition side, cannot be able to get classrooms for the children of Kitutu Masaba. We are not going to go back where we begged certain institutions for our people to get the very basic. Education is basic. Classrooms are basic. Bursaries are basic. We are not going to allow a point where we have to go back to nil, seeing loyalty for our people to get what is their right. NGCDF has brought equity to this country. NGCDF should fought for by all of us and by the people who are forever taking it to court, who only appear in the villages carrying bottled water once in a blue moon to attend a funeral and cannot even sleep in those villages. We are the ones who carry those children of the poor, children who do not have pampers. We are the ones who carry them, look them in the eye, and see the dream in their eye. For those who sit in Nairobi, sit in the courts, well-ventilated offices, do not tell us what the people go through. We are the ones who know what the people go through. We are the ones who know the dreams of the poor young child. It is our responsibility as a house, all members, to show up today. Because if you do not show, we'll put you in the bracket of the aloofness that is represented by the people active in courts. Honorable Speaker, I would like to end there and say that I support this bill because with this bill, our children have a future. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Agnes Pareyo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the amendment, the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill. This amendment is going to help us or help the people we represent to make sure that they continue getting NGCDF. This is not money that is meant for the MP. This is money that has really made a difference in our constituencies. This money is seen like it is money that it is the MP that uses, but this is money that is run by a committee, a management committee with a fund manager, and they also use the public service officers, the public service officers and the community monitor and assure that this is money that is meant to them. When you look at our phones, we receive messages from students who are unable to sit for their exams because they know that this money is there and it is meant for them, and that money can support them in their education. So for me, I support the amendment of the bill, and I also want to say that this is money that is supposed and has really made a difference in our communities. This is money. If it were not for this money, most of my schools in my constituency would now have been closed for lack of toilets. This is money that the community and the constituency know that this is money that we can get, and this is money that we can reach. So for now, we must stand up, all of us in this house, to make sure that this amendment, we have really gotten a quorum so that to make sure that this money remains with the people and this money remains at the constituency. For the National Affirmative Fund, I also support these women. I pity with them because the area they serve is a very huge area. It is the whole county. And when I see them, giving water tanks, giving out the tents to the women, and they are always there for the bursaries, and the money they get is too little, and they still make sure that this money is felt in their county, in their, please protect me, don't confuse me. And so I support, and I also want to say that this money is not enough for them. This money should be added to the women so that they can manage this money, and this is money that women in our constituencies, in our counties are really feeling. The NGCDF money, affirmative action money, is money for the people. It's not meant for the MP. So I support the amendment bill and say that we should come out in large numbers with the members of parliament to make sure that we get the quorum to pass this bill. Thank you, and I support.
Very well. Member for Kandui, Honorable Makali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also weigh in on this particular bill. First is to really thank the people who thought about bringing the NGCDF, specifically Senator Kabue, who started up this bill. And thank also my senior colleague, Otienda Molo, and Chep Konga for bringing up this bill. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Anjala, you're totally out of order.
Honorable Speaker, the Constitution is a living document. And Article 95 of the Constitution gives us power to discuss issues touching on the people. The people have granted us sovereign authority, and members of parliament sit to represent the people. This bill seeks to entrench the three funds into our constitution. Why are we here in the first place? We have been a subject, this assembly and the board have been a subject of various disputes in court, challenging the fund. So as the representatives of the people, if a court declares a fund unconstitutional, who has the role to make it constitutional? Under Article 256, under which this bill is being brought, we have the power as members of parliament to be able to make what is unconstitutional to be constitutional. So in discussing this bill, Honorable Speaker, we are basically doing our part, making what the courts have declared unconstitutional to be constitutional. Honorable Speaker, arguments have been made that NGCDF Act offends the doctrine of separation of powers. Honorable Speaker, I wish to submit before this particular House that there is no absolute doctrine of separation of powers. Members of Parliament and this House have powers to make laws that will give meaning to what the people have sent them here for. And I submit before this House, Honorable Speaker, that even the judiciary, much as it's given up the role of interpreting the laws only, it has also a judiciary fund, and you'll find it actually executing projects within its docket. So there is no absolute doctrine of separation of powers. In also pushing this bill, Madam Speaker, you remember, Madam Speaker, we formed up the NADCO committee. The NADCO committee sat and it took views from members of the public and Kenyans. And Kenyans were actually very, very clear that we needed to entrench these funds in the Constitution. So in moving this particular bill, Honorable Speaker, we are doing nothing outside the law. We are simply giving wishes to the wishes of Kenyans whom we represent here. And as is emblazoned here, we stay here for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. So we are giving effect to the wishes of Kenyans. Article 10 of the Constitution gives national values. And one of the national values is inclusion, equity, public participation. This bill, Honorable Speaker, we took it to the counties, all the 290 constituencies, and 98% of the Kenyans said we needed to entrench this bill, this fund into the Constitution, so that the naysayers can be given a break from taking this assembly and the board to the court each and every time over this particular bill. So we are giving basically effect to public participation, which is a national value. We are giving effect equally to equity, because all the 290 constituencies are beneficiaries of the NGCDF. And therefore, there is no constituency or there's no part of Kenya that is actually excluded from getting funds on account of NGCDF. So we are giving effect to inclusivity and ensuring that there is accountability. One of the critical things in this particular fund is that there is public participation at the grassroots. You remember, Madam Speaker, we used to have the focus on rural development, which failed during the Moi era. This fund is the only fund in which public participation is conducted at the rural level, at the grassroots level. and people give their views on the kind of development which they want to have. So it is a fund that really, Madam Speaker, we need to entrench up to give effect to the wishes of the Kenyan people who have elected us to be in this particular parliament. Honorable Speaker, there have been two agencies that have been fighting this fund, specifically the Council of Governors and the civil society. They have taken many matters to court in which we have been able to participate in. And their argument has been that we want to create a third level of funds, that there are only two levels of funds, of disbursement of government funds. That is the national government and the county government. We need to disabuse that particular notion that the funds that are allocated to go towards NGCDF are not from county funds allocated to the county governments, but are funds that are basically allocated to do national functions. And the NGCDF funds are basically only doing national government functions and not county government, and therefore there is totally no overlap at all. There has also been a misnomer, Honorable Speaker, that these funds are like loose change and pocket money for members of parliament. That is not true. Members of parliament are far way removed. This fund is domiciled in the treasury. There is a board that manages it. And there are CDF committees at the constituency level, up to the PMC level in each of the constituencies. So this fund is not loose change for members of parliament, as has been indicated. What the members only do is to do an oversight, to ensure that these funds are spent in a better manner, so that they are not misused, and maybe just oversee how the projects are being done. So members of parliament, their only contact with these particular funds is for purposes of oversight. And finally, Honorable Speaker, we wish to state that in amending this particular constitution, we are simply giving effect to the wishes of the Kenyan people who have sent us here to represent them. As the public participation process clearly indicated that 98% of the Kenyans wanted entrenchment of these funds in the constitution. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support this constitutional amendment and urge my colleagues to stand up to be counted and vote for this constitutional amendment that assists not only the poorest people, but it cuts across the entire Kenya, that assists both the underdeveloped and developed areas, so that we can have equity in our national development ethos as we move on as a country. Madam Speaker, I support this constitutional amendment. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Bomachoge, Borabu, Nolfason, Barongo. Mheshimiwa Nolfason, Barongo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for affording me this opportunity to also contribute in support of this constitutional amendment to ensure that we secure the gains that we have made as a country in terms of development. Madam Speaker, last year, I had the good fortune of attending the 20th anniversary of the Constituency Development Fund. To understand why this fund is very important and must be now entrenched in the Constitution, we listened to a tale by the former Member of Parliament for Olkalau, Honorable Muriuki Karue, who got frustrated trying to get development for his constituency. And every time he went to the treasury, he was told that his constituency will get development when the funds became available. His frustrations were arising from the fact that in his constituency, students were learning under trees. And today, Madam Speaker, there are in so many constituencies schools that have dilapidated toilets, and some of these schools are threatened by devolved units of closure because they do not have decent toilets. Madam Speaker, if we do away with CDF, Harambes will be back in full swing. We will now be required to conduct Harambes to be able to educate children, which is against the spirit of the Constitution
in Article 43, where every Kenyan has a right to access free education, and that education should be compulsory. Madam Speaker, why should we take the responsibility of educating our children back to the public? The public right now is stretched financially. We are struggling, the Kenyans are struggling to put food on their table. It will be the wrong time, Madam Speaker, to take away this fund, because this fund has subsidized education for their children and assures their children of a better future. Madam Speaker, if we take away this fund, most of the ills that have bedeviled this country will be back. We will be back to making sure that we will be back to politicizing basic services for Mwananchi. Madam Speaker, the process of engaging public in determining what is their priority projects in their constituencies is a constitutional requirement. And the current NGCDF, as constituted, has been ensuring that the public have a say in what are the priority projects that have to be undertaken in their constituencies. Madam Speaker, I think the public spoke emphatically by giving their views on what needs to be done going forward. The courts have announced their position that this CDF is currently unconstitutional, and it is upon this House now to make a decision to correct the things that the court has actually raised, so that this fund is now entrenched in the Constitution, so that Kenya can continue to receive the development that ensures that there is equity across the land. For this reason, Madam Speaker, I want to encourage our members, those who are not in the House today, make your way back to Nairobi, make your way back to the chambers, make sure that the overwhelming support we received from the public around the entrenchment of this Constitution becomes a reality this afternoon. Madam Speaker, for these reasons, I support this amendment.
Thank you. Member for Nthiwa, Honorable Martin Owino.
Equally appreciative, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to say to our friends, the mover, Senior Counsel Tindia Molo, Chepkonga, and also the second, Sir George Murangara. Madam Speaker, there's no one who is saying that CDF does not work. National government CDF works. What we want to do here is to protect what is working for Kenyans, to remain working for Kenyans, and to lock out these busybodies who keep on going to the courts all the time. Madam Speaker, just speaking from my own constituency, and I know it's the same. If I go to Mary Maingi, constituency is the same. Cynthia, the same. Wherever we go, Matthias here is the same. You will see CDF in action and what CDF does. Madam Speaker, in Dewa, where I have 204 schools, 152 primary and 52 secondary schools. Without CDF, before that, children were just sitting in a classroom learning and seeing goats grazing outside. And that is across the nation. Now that has changed because we are building classrooms. We are reducing population in classrooms. Where children used to have 80 in a class, now they are halved. So children are performing better because of CDF. I have testimonies where others have completed their high school and completed colleges. They are back in the community, some as lawyers, some as engineers, giving back to the community. Where in those areas, children would have dropped. Teenage pregnancies are reduced because of sustaining kids in school, because education is an equalizer in all this. What I wonder, and I ask our colleagues to think about, we appropriate money to Ministry of Education. It's the second, actually, in that PEC. But you don't see what that money does on the ground, including infrastructure, which is supported even internationally. So, I speak on behalf of the people of Mbewa. Classrooms are decongested, laboratories are built, so we can compete with schools like Alliance and everybody. Water, provisions, environment, even sports. I don't know why sports were removed, Madam Speaker. Even sports, people were very active in our constituencies because we were driving the sports as well. Madam Speaker, when we talk of national ethos, and another member have alluded to it here, when we talk of value for money, equity, inclusivity, emergency responses, that is the heart of CDF. Notwithstanding, other people, other devolved units are there, but they're not responding even to emergencies. Now we are even pushed to be responding to toilets as emergencies, which should not be the case. What happened with the capitation we give the ministries? Where do they take their money? So mine is to protect what is working and entrench this into the Constitution. In fact, if we were to rewrite the Constitution, this is the most important decentralized fund in 290 constituency. You would have not even thought of having 47 counties. Those monies would have been channeled through this, and you would see the impact it would have done in these areas. Lastly, entrenching this into the Constitution will cure what we call oxymoronism of leadership, where you say one thing and you do the other. What CDF does is seen. And because it is people's driven, public participation is a must, approval system is up to the board, and even in this house we have a committee that oversees that board. So the whole system should be replicated in other areas of activities. If those who are jealous of its functionality, I think what they should do is to copy what CDF does. Without belaboring on the obvious, allow me to say I support this, and members, if where representation is needed this afternoon, it is in this house. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Cynthia Muge, member for Nandi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice to this very important motion on the floor of the House. I appreciate the Honorable Tenda Omolo and the Honorable Chepkonga for the very thoughtful time and sentiments they have been able to put together into this bill, so that finally, Honorable Speaker, the CDF, the NGAF, and the newly added Senate Oversight Fund, Honorable Speaker, can finally be entrenched in the Constitution. CDF and NGAF, Honorable Speaker, for so many years has been facing a lot of legal challenges. And this is an opportunity, Honorable Speaker, for us to be able to ensure that those legal challenges finally go away, Honorable Speaker. And we also deal with ambiguity, Honorable Speaker, and we also have to make sure that the people understand the structures of CDF and NGAF. Honorable Speaker, it has come to my attention that many people, even the beneficiaries of NGAF and the CDF, Honorable Speaker, do not understand how the structure works. And Honorable Speaker, that is why you hear members, especially the patrons of NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, saying that students text them on their phones. Honorable Speaker, I think it's also high time that the people in this country and the beneficiaries and those people that run institutions and organizations, Honorable Speaker, understand how structures work. The NGCDF, Honorable Speaker, and NGAF have a structure. And just to speak to NGAF, Honorable Speaker, I wish the people knew that there's a structure that runs NGAF. And Honorable Speaker, allow me to say this. The people who have attached NGAF and NGCDF to members are not the members themselves, Honorable Speaker. They are the people outside there. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the structure,
There is nowhere the member of parliament, who is a patron of NGCDF, comes into the running of the operations of NGCDF. Honorable Speaker, same to NGAF. Myself, as a member of parliament, Honorable Speaker, being a woman rep, I do not run NGAF. I am just a patron. I am just an oversight authority for NGAF. I make sure that all the monies that have been allocated for NGAF are actually used for that purpose. I ensure, Honorable Speaker, that the percentages that have been allocated for women economic empowerment, Honorable Speaker, are used for that particular purpose. The money that has been ring-fenced, Honorable Speaker, for bursaries and scholarships, Honorable Speaker, are used for that particular purpose. And Honorable Speaker, I must say that I am in full support of entrenchment of NGAF and NGCDF because the importance of those two funds, Honorable Speaker, cannot be gainsaid. Honorable Speaker, before NGAF came in and before NGCDF came in, for instance, my county, Honorable Speaker, there were no direct empowerment projects that go to the people. But with NGAF, Honorable Speaker, that needs to be entrenched in this constitution, Honorable Speaker, we now have members of the community, the women, the youth, the person living with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups able to access funds, Honorable Speaker, for empowerment. You find groups, Honorable Speaker, in the villages. A group like the Momba Boda Boda group in Tindred, Honorable Speaker, they have 300,000 shillings, Honorable Speaker, that they can use to better their operations as people who operate in the Boda Boda. Honorable Speaker, the Oasis Women Group in Kabiet now, Honorable Speaker, they have the capacity to be able to run their businesses, to be able to have money to invest in business, to be able to get income, and to be able to have money in their pockets, Honorable Speaker. Courtesy of this same GAF, Honorable Speaker, today, Nandi County is boasting of more than 700,000 seedlings of kahawa that have been given out under the Mama na Kahawa program in Nandi County Honorable Speaker. That program, Honorable Speaker, in the next 3 years, you will be able to see proper fruits. You will be able to see lesser people going to the NGCDF offices, going into the NGAF offices to look for funds because they can be able to run their, they can be able to pay their school fees, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, this is equity that we have always looked for and that we have always asked that we see it in every aspect of this life. Honorable Speaker, I cannot even give adequate accolades to NGCDF. For me to be here today, Honorable Speaker, I am a product of NGCDF. I got bursary from the office, Gwen office, then Honorable Speaker, in 2013, in 2012. And I appreciate what NGCDF has done to me and to other vulnerable children who needed and require education. Honorable Speaker, when you walk around the constituencies that we come from, you will be able to tell where you are courtesy of a branding that has been done under NGCDF. You will know whether you are in Mgwen, you will know whether you are in Likuyani, you will know whether you are in Sambweni, you will know where you are, courtesy of projects that have been done by NGCDF. And Honorable Speaker, I am in total support of this entrenchment so that, Honorable Speaker, these funds can continue giving services to the people, these funds can continue being important to the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, we are not doing this because we are members of parliament today. I can assure you, Honorable Speaker, that in 2027, September, during the swearing in, I will not be in this house. But NGCDF and GAF must be in this house, Honorable Speaker, so that it can be able to serve the people of Kenya post me and you who are sitting in this house, Honorable Speaker. So we are not doing this, Honorable Speaker, for us. We are doing it for the people of Kenya. We are doing it for the children of Kenya. We are doing it for the women of Kenya. We are doing it for the youth of Kenya. We are doing it for the PWDs of Kenya, Honorable Speaker, so that this fund, Honorable Speaker, can live beyond any member and any person who gets an opportunity to sit in this house. So, Honorable Speaker, with those very many remarks, I support the entrenchment of NGCDF, of NGAF, and Senate Oversight Fund to the Constitution of Kenya so that we can stop running battles in courts with the people who like going to court, Honorable Speaker, and deliver the services to the people of Kenya. I support, Honorable Speaker.
CDF Committee Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to give my views and support the entrenchment of the Constitution of the NGCDF and GAF, and also the Senate Oversight Fund. Madam Speaker, first I would like to thank the Honorable Muriuki Karue
who did a good job. I was in this house, Madam Speaker, at that time. And before, there was nothing else people were doing in the rural areas. They were busy selling their cows and selling their produce to build schools. Schools were built exclusively by the parents who had children in school, and also well-wishers, Madam Speaker. But currently, with what has happened is a transformation of this country. We have lessened the burdens of the public through the provision of funds which are people-driven. The committees which have been set aside in and gazetted by the Attorney General are going to work tirelessly to make sure that the fund is managed and given the priority of the people of what they need. Madam Speaker, this fund is an equalizer to all. It makes those who are poor be able to take their children to school. It makes development equitable, no matter what kind of government is there. Even a dictatorial government with the existence of CDF, which can decide that there will be no money to a certain area based on political support, CDF will equalize, and everybody will be able to feel what they are paying in terms of taxes. Madam Speaker, we also want this, the funds to be entrenched, because we have had serious litigants in this country. I want to say for sure, Kenya has evolved into a very serious democratic country, never seen even in Africa, because everybody has a right to challenge whatever is done in this house. They go to court. They are also allowed to run in the street and they declare or give what they want what they require. So doing this is the right thing, so that we are able to shield this fund from being destroyed by litigants and others who do not wish other people well. Madam Speaker, if you compare what the NGCDF is doing in the constituencies, and you compare what the county governments are doing in the various areas, if you compare the schools built by CDF, the county government have only one responsibility in education: to build the ECD classes. And there are only 2 in every primary school. Madam Speaker, we are going to almost, after the enactment of the Constitution, to have the counties. We are in the 12th year or so. And in fact, the governors have not finished even building the nursery schools, only 2 classes. When in the CDF, the boards and the CDFCs who are there in the constituencies have been able to build classes, numbers. They are almost done with them. So, Madam Speaker, we need to support the enactment and entrenchment of this constitution so that we are able to support. I wish we had brought in the ward fund so that we can be able to remove some amount of money from the county government and give to the ward representatives, so that there will be a management system which is there in the ward, so that we see development on the ground. But here, since we have not been able to get it in this time, I hope members can think about it, so that we can have a ward fund as part of the entrenched fund which is required, which we get money from the counties. Madam Speaker, when you look at the counties' money which they are given, 400+ billion, and you compare with what the CDFCs in every constituency get, almost a total of about 54 billion. It is just like day and night. And that is why at the end of every term of a member of or the governors, they usually pass through court to be washed before they go home. So we do not know how we are going to protect the money of Kenyans from being misused. Madam Speaker, the reforms which will be required in these two funds after the entrenchment, I wish that members should think about how we shall have to give real strict rules and regulations and the act itself to the board so that they can be able to manage the fund effectively. If we are going to have if we entrench this, we need to think about what do we want to make sure that these two funds or the three funds are going to go through so that we are able to make it perfect and out of the litigation area. Madam Speaker, we want to say to make Kenyans live better, to make Kenyans have their children go to school, to make development of even the women community in this country and all other disabilities, the only solution is the NGCDF and the GAF, and therefore I wish to support that we do entrench these funds into the Constitution. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Wajir West, Honorable Yusuf Mohammed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity also to support the entrenchment of NGCDF, GAF into the Constitution. Madam Speaker, Kenyans have spoken. We have done public participation everywhere in this country. And Kenyans have overwhelmingly supported this bill. That clearly shows the trust the people of Kenya have in NGCDF and the GAF. But Madam Speaker, I don't want to put myself or go to debate with governors who are claiming these specific funds to be abolished or taken off from the records. I want to tell those governors, even if this money today is taken back by the national government, it will not come to the county governments. Why? Because NGCDF functions are very clear and distinct. NGCDF and GAF are doing what the national government functions are, specifically education, security, energy, and the rest. My question is, if these funds are abolished, where will the governors and the county government get money to fund the gap? If they're able to do it, they could have done it now. Education is not a devolved function, and security is not a devolved function. Madam Speaker, the people who are advocating for the removal of this fund are people who do not understand what the person at the grassroots level feels about it. These are people who are able to pay the school fees of their kids, are able to pay the school fees of their kids, who are able to educate their children, who are able to do other things that NGCDF is doing for the people of Kenya. Madam Speaker, as much as we argue whether we entrench or not, we need to understand the following. One, Madam Speaker, are these funds meant for specific members of parliament? Are the funds being used by members of parliament for their own gains? We all know these funds are used for a specific purpose by a board. The members of parliament are doing their oversight role, which is to confirm and make sure that money are used appropriately and the right way that is required by law. But this notion, Madam Speaker, of some members or Kenyans believe that these funds are used by members of parliament is not here, not there. And I say so. And if I may say, it's hot air. They know, but they're doing it because they don't want these funds to go to the village, at the village level. Madam Speaker, today if we say we abolish these funds, what will happen to the people of Wajir West? What will happen to the schools of the remotest place in this country? The schools that cannot get any infrastructure development from national government since inception, Madam Speaker. And their only source of funding was NGCDF, Madam Speaker. There is no school in Wajir West that was not either built, equipped by CDF, Madam Speaker. That clearly shows this money is doing exactly what the national government and the county government, the two levels of government, were supposed to do, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it will be very unfair to the people of Wajir West if these funds are removed, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the people of Wajir West, Madam Speaker, I want to put on records that these funds should be entrenched in the Constitution, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have seen some busybodies, I say so, who are always running to the courts to challenge whatever is good for this country, Madam Speaker. It is unfortunate that even those who are at the corridor of justice or courts to challenge the legality of these funds, Madam Speaker, are coming to members of parliament or going to the CDF board or CDF committee to request for bursaries, Madam Speaker, including the judges, Madam Speaker. They go to the CDF committee of their constituency to request for funds. And in that same place, they are here judging against the legality of these funds, Madam Speaker. Everybody knows, Madam Speaker, whether these funds are supporting the people of Kenya properly or not. What we need as a house, I can see members of parliament are not around today. I want to urge everybody to come so that we get to third. Most of the members of parliament should come and vote, Madam Speaker. I withdraw before.
Honorable Beatrice Kemei, what is out of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Is it in order for the honorable member to say that members of parliament are not in this house? They are not here. And we are all here, Honorable Speaker. Let him debate on what he wants to say, but not to say that we are not here.
Honorable Mohammed has already corrected And I think what what you mean is that we must attain 2:33 in the afternoon.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we must attain to 2:33 today so that we entrench this into the Constitution, Madam Speaker. If we are serious about this bill, if we are serious about the people of Kenya, if we are serious about children, our children, we must entrench this bill into the Constitution, Madam Speaker. With those few remarks, I support the bill, Madam Speaker. Thank you for giving me.
Honorable Member for Nairobi, Honorable Pasaris.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the bill on entrenching NGCDF, GAF, and creating an Oversight Senate fund as well. Madam Speaker, the first thing I have to say is, first of all, I regret what happened in Nairobi County and across the country yesterday. What was supposed to be a peaceful demonstration was not peaceful. Lots of people ended up losing their lives. So many others were injured. And on top of it, a lot of people lost property. And Nairobi came to a standstill, as did many other parts of the country. And I want to appeal to the civil society organizations and all those that have good, huge followings on social media, that we have only one country. And if we do not respect that we have only one country and the situation that this country finds itself right now, with heightened unemployment, with limited budgets to fulfill the needs of the entire country, you know, just coming out and calling and, you know, thinking it's a beautiful selfie moment, let's undermine the police service and expect them to serve us. Seeing a policewoman get brutally kicked by the public, seeing another policeman get attacked. I'm not saying that what the police did in terms of exercising, you know, not exercising restraint and shooting innocent participants in the demonstrations. What I want to say is, when you push the police to the limits that we are pushing them, knowing that there's one policeman for 500, and when we threaten their own safety, then we are also asking for trouble. And I believe that everybody yesterday is culpable. It's not just the police that shot. Those who also called for these demonstrations and funded them and caused the mayhem that they did. Because if it's peaceful demonstrations, then no county will be on shutdown. But a lot of the country came on shutdown yesterday. When you say that you're having peaceful demonstrations for memorials, and then you end up saying you want to occupy State House, and that is where you're going, then you're actually looking to overthrow a government, and that cannot be allowed. We have to understand that we have one country, and we have to work together. We're in a bad place in terms of the economy, and the president is trying as much as possible to get us back on track as a country, but the opposition is taking advantage and trying to misuse poverty, trying to divide us on tribal lines, and trying to cause mayhem. The lives that were lost is not blood on the police hands. It's blood on the politicians that funded this. It is blood on the civil society movements. And I also want to talk to Kenya Law Society. You know, you're the law society, not just for the civil society. You're the law society for the entire country. You're the law society for that woman who lost her shop. You're the law society for that mother who lost her child. You're the law society for the many policemen that were also injured. So I really say that, you know, this country needs to take a break and focus on allowing the government to do the job that it wants to do. It's like they want to undermine the government so that they can actually move in, but that's not the way to win an election. Tell the public what you're going to do for them. Show them by example what you're going to do for them. Before I became an elected woman, leader of parliament, I was already a leader. I had already done the projects of Adopt a Light. I was already employing deaf people. What are you doing? You came out of government, you want to get into government, and you're promising things. We have a former Chief Justice who's also trying to do that. So for me, I really feel that we need to focus on ensuring that we have peace in this country.
Honorable Bensouda, what is out of order?
don't tell me to sit. We are legislators. We need
Honorable
to be on the right
Bensouda,
track.
address the speaker.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm sorry I withdraw. What I wanted to ask, is it in order? We are debating NGCDF GAF, but I'm hearing very, very fundamental contribution on police brutality and any other issue that we should do. Could the contributor, the honorable member for Nairobi County, explain whether that is related to enshrining NGCDF GAF into the Constitution? Thank you.
Honorable Passaris, by the standing orders, you will maintain relevance to the debate.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. But I cannot be ignorant of what happened in my county yesterday and in the country at large. As legislators and representatives of the people, it will be amiss on me not to offer condolences to all the people that have lost their loved ones and continue to lose their loved ones because civil society cannot hold itself and its horses, and the political wing is also trying to undermine the country. Madam Speaker, as I stand here, I speak as a patron of GAF. I have seen all these funds, GAF and NGCDF, being riddled with many, many court battles. And the thing is, nobody wants to understand the impact that these funds have on the society. When you look at NGCDF, the first time I came to know was NGCDF when I got into Parliament was when the late Honorable Ken Okoth called me to Kibra and showed me we were opening a school that was funded by NGCDF. It was not him that funded it. It was not Kibra, Ken Okoth, who funded it. It was him and him as the MP ensuring that the fund that was what was provided for Kibra was actually doing the job that it's supposed to be done and making sure that the direction and the standards he's giving and guidance. But the fund was actually being oversighted by committee members appointed and an NGCDF board member. So they were the ones who took and owned the project. But him as the area MP would give leadership. For instance, I am the patron of GAF. GAF receives a lot of money, for Constituency Development Fund. GAF receives a lot of money in terms of various votes. One of the votes that we have is county-wide vote. And in the county-wide vote, when we realized that the committee members came and said, we have a problem with SGBV, we actually decided to save the money, look for the land, and we're putting up the first county-owned safe house and shelter in Nairobi County. That would not have been done if we just said that we leave everything to the governors and the executive. Nobody had thought of building a safe house in Nairobi. And I've seen a number of women reps also deal with safe houses, deal with rehab centers. So there are gaps and there are voids. And those gaps and voids are being filled with these funds. We also have a situation where, for instance, during COVID, we had Mama Fuas come to us and say, you know what, now we can't go into people's houses to wash clothes because of COVID. And our businesses are going down. This is how we raise our money. GAF together, the committee sat together and said, why don't we create stations for them to be able to operate? So we put in washing machines, dryers, and ironing boards and gave them the equipment so that they would be able to conduct their business. So that was something that a gap is bridged by the National Government Affirmative Action Fund. There's so many other projects. We also empower people to be able to start businesses in terms of portion meals, in terms of TV centers, in terms of motorbikes for the border. This fund has its role. And I believe to always be going into court, in and out of court, and derailing the progress of the funds in terms of bursaries, in terms of affirmative action, in terms of persons living with disability provisions, in terms of education, in terms of police stations. I've seen police stations funded. I mean, when you go to Ruaraka, Honorable TJ Kajwang has put a police station. These are gaps. We even had the judiciary once come and engage us as members of parliament in saying, you know, we need courts and we want you to help allocate some money for us to build courts closer to the people. So for me, this fund needs to be entrenched in law so that it stops being taken to and from, so that it can continue the good work that it's done. After 20 years, you come back and say this fund should be gone. Do you know other countries actually want the fund because the MPs are not able to actually see that the grassroots is getting met in terms of its need. So, Madam Speaker, as I stand here, I really hope that we will be able to entrench this into law, and I hope that GAF can also be apportioned to a percentage like NGCDF, so as the economy grows, GAF fund grows. It cannot be a standard blanket 3 billion. It has to be entrenched into law so that we can be able to grow as the economy grows. So I stand here and I support all these funds so that we can be able to effectively deliver what we've been delivering to the grassroots in real time as it's required, through the various structures that have been put in place, where I am just a patron, the MP is just a patron, and we can be able to ensure that our people are served very well. Thank you very much.
Member for Nambale, Honorable Geoffrey Mulanya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice on this particular bill. Madam Speaker, the fight against NGCDF is not just the fight on the fund. This is a misplaced fight whereby we find many people wants to fight members of parliament. They wrongly direct the anchor onto this particular fund. Madam Speaker, when you walk around the country, you realize the gains made by this particular fund. And especially in my constituency where I come from, in Nambale, we have many schools that have been constructed, new schools that have been brought up using NGCDF. And Madam Speaker, you know that Article 53 guarantees the Kenyan children free basic education. How do you achieve this? It will not be achievable, Madam Speaker, if our children are covering a distance of 2-3 kilometers to go and come back from school. And Madam Speaker, in Nambale constituency, we have earmarked 6 new schools. To achieve this, the only fund that can help the people of Nambale is the NGCDF, that through the national government, we can have the funds available to have these new schools and have our children accessing schools near by their homes. And Madam Speaker, even the judges that sit in these courts and decide on these particular cases, they are products that who came through the schools that most of them came through government schools. But considering the current times, we cannot have that the modern children covering a distance of 3 kilometers to attend school. And that's why we are saying that we should have a fund whereby we reduce this particular coverage for our children so that they can have a lesser distance to attend to the school. Madam Speaker, we know that we have the administrative units. Initially, in most parts of our country, chiefs and assistant chiefs never used to have offices. All these gains made so that our people can be served properly by the administrative units has been made through the NGCDF funds. So when we withdraw this particular fund, because people are saying that the NGCDF is a pocket change for the members of parliament, will be causing great injustice to the people of Kenya. So the only option that we have is to have this particular fund entrenched the constitution and even increase its allocation so that these particular funds that come from the national government can be applied to development in the rural areas in all parts of the country. Even if we say that the fund offends the doctrine of separation of powers, Madam Speaker, we must appreciate that the funds that are channeled to the NGCDF funds are only applied to the national government fund functions, which is education, security, and administration. So when we say that this fund is withdrawn, the funds will never be applied to the county governments, because the county government, they have their own allocations, and as has been said here, we are 13 years into devolution. But in many parts of this country, you find that there are schools without ECD classes. So the county government or the devolved units, they must first of all concentrate on the funds they have, apply the funds available, so that they allow the national government also to perform their functions. We as members of parliament, we are mere patrons. Our duty is just to ensure that there is equity in distribution of these funds or application of the fund to all parts of the constituency, but we are not involved in the appropriation, we are not involved in the expenditure. Myself, in my constituency, I've never seen an NGCDF check apart from the bursary checks that we normally supervise distribution. So, Madam Speaker, I support the entrenchment of the NGCDF into the Constitution so that those busybodies that rush to court will not now rush to court and say these particular funds are constitutional. Madam Speaker, I support.
Very well. The Deputy Majority Whip, Honorable Wako.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to this very important debate that is going on. As I also want to thank Honorable Otiende Amolo and Samuel Chepkonga for bringing this. Honorable Speaker, if there is any bill that we all need to participate in, it is this bill, because it touches the lives of our people and especially the vulnerable people. Honorable Speaker, the poverty level in this country is quite high. And the only way that we have managed to get to our people and also help them in their need is through CDF and NGAF money. Honorable Speaker, NGAF money cannot be compared to what CDF is doing or the amount of money that we receive in CDF. However, the impact that even NGAF has had is quite huge. It has transformed lives. We have been able to educate people. We have distributed those items that really matter to the people at the grassroots level. And again, that little money that we have been given has been used very well. Honorable Speaker, there is good accountability and good stewardship under the 47 women reps in this county. That money has also brought equalization in our country, because before, those of us who come from remote areas and far places have not felt the presence of the government. But through these monies, we have taken services closer to our people. We have educated people. We have transformed lives. And Honorable Speaker, when we go to the grounds and empower over 15 women groups, some 10 youth groups, some people living with disability, and you give them a check of 100,000 and empowering them to improve their businesses, then we have created some work for them. They are creating their own wealth, and we are transforming that particular village. Honorable Speaker, when you go to the CDF, the honorable members have done a lot of things. Honorable Speaker, they have provided bursaries, just as women reps have been doing. They have been doing school infrastructure development. They have been doing technical training institute. Honorable Speaker, some of them have been building Kenya medical training colleges and support also to national administration, things that have not been there before. I have seen them even participating in a construction of Huduma centers. And by doing all that, we have improved the lives of the people at the grassroots level. We have brought services to the people. We have also created jobs for our young people. Honorable Speaker, many are the times that Kenyans have been fighting these particular funds because there are people who think that it benefits the individual honorable members. And it is unfortunate because in our country today, people like fighting one another and especially fighting members of parliament. Honorable Speaker, many of us have sacrificed a lot to transform the lives of people on the ground. And I want to beg the citizens, please give members of parliament the opportunity to serve you and even serve you better, to serve the country in a better way. Honorable Speaker, if there is anything that needs our support, it is this bill, because we are not doing it for ourselves, but we are doing it on behalf of our citizens. And for NGAF, Women reps have suffered because out of the little money we get, many people have been always targeting to cut this or to demoralize women leaders. It is my prayer that GAF will be even increased so that we will be able to reach out to many other in the villages who need our support. And it is only us who understand the needs in the villages, and especially the needs of women, the needs of young people, the needs of people living with disability. With those few remarks, I support. Thank you.
Bishop Kosgei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also, on the onset, wish to support this bill to have NGCDF and GOV entrenched in the Constitution because of two things, Madam Speaker. Number one is the impact of these funds since its establishment several years ago, how it has impacted on the people. It has been said, Madam Speaker, that you cannot deny citizens a right they have enjoyed legally. You can only enhance it. Secondly, the impact of this fund can be seen, Madam Speaker. Also, to have it entrenched in the Constitution is the best way we can enhance this particular fund because it is benefiting the citizens of this country. Number two, Madam Speaker, the reason why I support this particular fund and funds is the issue and intention of devolution. The very spirit and intent of the Constitution, by bringing in devolution, what meant the transfer of power and resources closer to the people. This particular fund, and because it is benefiting the citizens of this country, which was in the minds of the drafters of the Constitution, was to have a primary goal to bring governance closer to the people, fostering greater participation by the public, and equitable resource allocation. Madam Speaker, the question before us should not be whether or not we should have NGCDF or GAF, but how do we enhance devolution? And this is one way of doing it, taking resources and the right of citizens to participate in an equitable manner closer to them by legal and practical means. With this, Madam Speaker, I appeal to all Kenyans of goodwill as the members of Parliament undertake this afternoon on their behalf to entrench it in the Constitution, to appreciate that this is one way we are enhancing devolution in our country. With that, Madam Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Very well. Honorable Member for Teso North, Honorable Kaunya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to lend my voice to this and say I support this amendment, Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2025, to entrench the CDF and the GAF as well as the Senate oversight into the Constitution. Honorable Speaker, I want to emphasize one important thing.
Advanced Care Body Lotion, a revolutionary blend of serums and natural ingredients designed to transform your skin into a masterpiece of firmness, radiance, and youthfulness. Infused with hyaluronic acid serum, nature's ultimate moisturizer, Venus unveils confidence that captivates with 5 times more hydration. Venus, inspired by nature.